stone. Hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand?
At the end of the storm is a golden sky and the sweet silver soul of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk
My mother kept a garden of the heart. She planted all the good things that gave my life its start. She turned me to the sunshine and encouraged me to dream, fostering and nurturing the seeds of self-esteem. And when the winds and rains came, she protected me enough, but not too much, because she knew I'd have to stand up strong and tough. Her constant good example always taught me right from wrong, markers for my pathway to last my whole life long. I am my mother's garden. I am her legacy. And I hope today she feels the love reflected back from me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jesse, and I have been honoured with the privilege of conducting the funeral service for a woman whose spark and joy for life, while gone physically, are never far away. We meet today to pay tribute to the life of Dianne K. Demeyer and to express our love and admiration for her. Today is a sad day, but nevertheless it is a good day, because we are not here to close the door on the life of Dianne, but to keep it open and to celebrate her life and her character, to allow the memories of her to flow, to make us smile, and to prompt us to follow her example and be thankful that our lives have connected. Everyone who sits in this room today is a gift to everyone else here. When we are together, just our presence, even in silence, is a deep comfort. Some of us may bear fresh wounds in our own hearts and feel very keenly the connection of sorrow. Others, whose days of mourning are more remote, still recall the comfort that sympathy brought their hearts. To those of you who were very close to Dianne, no one can predict what feelings and experiences will arise in the months and even years to follow. There may be waves of joy and sadness and tears, Everyone who is here is proof that you do not have to ride these waves alone. We know too that it is not only grief that we will feel. There will be genuine smiles and gratitude for the memories that Diane has given us that can never be taken away. A funeral takes a team of people who work together in creating a ceremony. And with me today are Simon, Lucas, Mandy and Fairley. And as the staff of Parkside Funerals, we are privileged to have been entrusted with the care of Diane after her death and of conducting her service here at Parkside. At the conclusion of this service, Diane's family warmly invite you to stay here for a cuppa and a chat as we continue in remembering Diane's life. Just a reminder too, if you haven't done so already, to please either switch off or silence your mobile phones. If your ringtone happens to be Elvis, you may be granted some grace. Otherwise, please keep them quiet, as this time is Diane's. I'd also like to welcome those who are unable to be here in the chapel in person today and are joining us via live stream. Your presence is very much appreciated. Thank you. Our time together is an opportunity to share memories of the life and personality that was Diane, a genuine, kind, composed woman whose strength and determination were evident throughout her life. Diane was an adoring wife to the late Hans, a cherished mother to Tony and Brian, a much-loved mother-in-law to Patrick, deceased, and Joe, a treasured grandmother to Damien and Beck, Jonathan, Miranda and Kim, Brooke, Thomas and Henry, and great-grandmother to Riley, Mickey, Mishka and Janica, Tylee, JJ, Rhea, Billy, and all their families. A devoted daughter of the late Jeff and Alice Enright, and a dear sister to Sue and Maureen, who were both deceased, and Julie. A sister-in-law to Murray Whitehouse and Kevin Saywood, an auntie, a cousin, and a friend. And on behalf of her family, I'd like to thank each of you gathered here for your love and support and friendship shown to both Diane and to them. Even though you mightn't think you're doing much, small acts of kindness can make such a remarkable difference. We talk about her because we're proud. We talk about her because she deserves to be remembered. We talk about her because even though she is now not with us, she is never far from our mind. We talk about her because she is part of us, a part that we could never ignore. We talk about her because we love her still and always will. The time that Diane's family have given me in this, their hardest of times, has formed the portrait of a woman who knew much, loved much, and shopped much. Diane K. Enright was born in Latrobe on the 2nd of May 1948, the first of 4 children to Jeff and Alice Enright. Diane's early years were spent in Rossarden, where Jeff had settled for work and where their family continued to grow, with the arrival of Sue and Julie, and after the move to Burnie when Diane was 6, the family was complete with the arrival of Maureen. Jeff was a strict, hard-working man as the girls were growing up, working 2 jobs to ensure the family had all their needs met, while Alice was busy looking after the home and raising the girls. Diane started her schooling at Brooklyn Primary before attending Parklands High for her secondary education. She particularly enjoyed textiles, learning to sew, and potentially sowing the seeds for a lifelong love of all things clothing. Once a month, they would drive to Devonport to see their grandparents, and along the way, they would stop at the shops in Penguin. Here, they had the choice of either a bag of chips or an ice cream, never both, before climbing back in the car to 4 buckets that Jeff had pre-packed to accommodate their car sickness. Thankfully, if the buckets were needed, most of the car's occupants had no sense of smell, something that I'm sure at times was a curse, but in these instances at least, a blessing. As time went on, Jeff began to mellow, and after Alice died, he took the girls for their first overseas holiday to Queensland. While Jeff wasn't too interested in exploring, a limo was organised by their cousin to take the girls to the casino, far outside Diane's comfort zone. But, according to all accounts, they had an absolute blast and returned home sometime around 4 a.m. Towards the end of her school years, Dianne started work at Coles. Around the same time, a Dutch boy from Penguin was doing his daily routine of driving the local policeman into Burnie. After 2 years of this, he thought it might be a good idea to actually get his driver's licence and asked the very same policeman to sign off for him. Now, it's not known for certain, but heavily theorised at least, that it was during this time that Dianne and Hans happened upon each other. And happen upon each other they did. Theirs was a whirlwind romance, and shortly after her 17th birthday in 1965, they were married. So fierce was their young love that only 6 months after their marriage, they welcomed their first child, full term too, Tony Ann. They moved to their first home together, a unit in Elizabeth Street next to sister-in-law Mary. In 1969, Brian Ross arrived, and their young family was complete. Not long after Brian's birth, they moved to Stirling Street, where they would stay for the next 30-odd years. Now, we're only one song in this morning, but as the day goes on, you're going to notice a bit of a theme with the music. Dianne was something of an Elvis superfan. When we watch the photos a little later, you'll notice that Hans's hair is, at times, very similar to that of the king. I'm not sure if this was at Dianne's request or if he just liked it that way, but regardless, she loved them both dearly. Just as she was raised, the newlywed Demeyers made sure their children wouldn't want for anything. Clothes were handmade by Dianne's talent where needed, and when modelled by Tony, commissioned by other neighbourhood children. While often creating clothing herself, she was also a recipient. Dianne was a sucker for hand-knitted socks. So much so, she's actually wearing a pair now, knitted by friend and Stirling Street neighbour, Bertha Sheridan. Thank you, Bertha. The family went on frequent Sunday drives. Valuable family time out of the house, exploring our countryside, near and far. Just like all families, things were not always sunshine and roses. Hans struggled with health issues for most of his life, which sometimes resulted in thin patience and short tempers, mostly with boundary-pushing teenagers. Dianne was the peacekeeper. Disagreements could be very vocal, but never physical. If not out of respect for your father or child, neither would dare cross Dianne. All it would take is a look, or even just the thought, the idea of being the recipient of a look. Dianne never swore and was nothing if not restrained. Tony had once locked Brian out of the house, and from what I'm told, not for the first time. And after a suitable amount of colourful request for entry, he decided to try physical instead and kicked the door in. Naturally, at the time, Brian received all the blame. I don't know why he did it, Mum, he just went crazy. It wasn't until 30 years later that Tony revealed the full truth of why he kicked the door in. By 1978, Hans's health had declined to the point where Dianne had to return to work. In 1981, Dianne's sister-in-law, Mary Jackson, opened Mary's Lingerie here in Burnie. About 6 months after she opened, she asked Dianne if she could cover the shop for a day while she was away. That day cover turned into 15 years of dedication, fun, and friendship. It was toward the end of her tenure at Mary's in 1995 that Dianne's life changed dramatically when she lost her deerhounds. In the early 2000s, Dianne left her Stirling Street home and moved to Queensland to live with Tony and her family for a time. Although short-lived, she thoroughly enjoyed her time in the north, spending quality time with her grandchildren and experiencing the wider variety of providers for her retail therapy. More on her shopping soon. By 2001, she was back in Burnie, moving into her unit in May Street, where she would remain until the end. Around this time, she met John, who through her twilight years brought her much appreciated companionship. To keep herself busy, she found work at the Appliance Service Centre with Phil and Heather Norton, with whom she also shared wonderful friendship, working there until her retirement in 2010. Now, just bear with me a moment. Talking too much. Diane had a love for all things shopping and fashion, particularly shoes. Every year, the Enright sisters, Dianne, Sue, Julie and Maureen, would fly to Melbourne for the Australian Open. Now, it may sound like hyperbole, but Dianne would, or at the very least wish she could, have 3 bags. 1 checked bag for clothes, 1 checked bag for shoes, and carry-on for her jewellery. There have been many other trips too, with her children and grandchildren, with similar themes of shopping, shows, and many good times. She even followed along to a wrestling show once, and while initially pretty apprehensive as the reserved and polite lady that she was, by the end she was fully engulfed in the atmosphere, cheering along with the crowd. While many trips were abroad, Dianne would take yearly drives to Launceston to visit friends Shirley and Ken and to do her Christmas shopping. Speaking of Christmas, Dianne was the family pavlova expert. She was a firm believer that fruit had no business being on a pav and should be topped only with cream and chocolate. When Dianne found she didn't have the energy to be making pavs for family get-togethers anymore, Tony thought she would try her hand. She rang Dianne to help guide her through the process, step by step, and things were going surprisingly well. Beautiful peaks were forming, looked stunning in the oven, until the cream was added, and the whole thing collapsed. All shell, no filling. As much as she loved shoes and shopping, tennis and pavlova, Dianne prioritised her grandchildren and their families over anything and everything else. Just as she had been with her own children, hers was a genuine, kind and unconditional love. We want to thank you, Dianne, for the legacy you leave your family, one of strength, resilience and the determination to chase your desires and achieve your dreams. Now we're lucky enough to hear from her grandchildren, and I'd like to first invite Damien forward to share with us, and after Damien, Jessica will share with us on behalf of her mum, Sister Julie. Thank you.
Excuse me. So today I've got 2 eulogies to read out. I've got one from my brother Jono, and then I'll read mine out secondly. Hey all, it is with extreme heartbreak that I am not able to be with you today to celebrate the life of Nan, known in many different ways to us all. Pay attention, I'm watching. I can see you all, hee. I just want to put my perspective on the absolute gentle soul. For me as a younger lad, she was one of very few constants in my life. The one person always there was Nan. When I needed a ride, a bus ticket, or just feel like someone cared, it was Nan. She was my constant, even knowing the things I was doing and getting into. She never wavered. She was there, my Nan. I could go on all day, but my memories are mine, and I know you all have yours. Dianne K, I love you. Even though you couldn't say it back, I love you to the moon. One piece of advice you shared a lot with me, John Farnham, will never stop, no more tickets to farewell tours, I'm crying with laughter, rest easy, you deserve it, the chance to rest. Damo, my other constant, thank you for reading this for me. I know you're feeling this one, brother, hold strong and give the big boy my strength. Even though I know Auntie Jo, Thomas and Henry have your back as I do, Uncle. In closing, celebrate this wonderful life and peace from the Tattersalls In closing, celebrate this wonderful life and peace from the Tattersalls Hotel Outback in Queensland. For those who don't know me, I'm Damien, her grandson, and I'm so grateful to share some of my favourite memories of her with you all. My Nan was a truly wonderful woman, and I will always cherish the love, kindness, selfless and strength she shared with us. Growing up with you from day one as a role model to both me and the kids, you set the example of what a kind-hearted and loving Nan that you truly are. We look forward as a family to our Tuesday night dinners at Nan's, where we knew we were getting donuts and most likely pizza, and a conversation that all of us looked forward to and will remember. You are one of the most amazing women in my life, always had a nurturing and positive impact on me. You accepted me for who I am as a person, and growing up mentored and steered myself and the kids in the right direction. Nan was very protective of all her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, as my now wife Beck found out. Their introduction wasn't perfect. Nan didn't know Beck was there, and Beck didn't know Nan was popping around. Oops, my bad. Nan really made Beck work for her love after seeing her in a sleepwear that morning. Things weren't great to start with, but after about 7 or 8 months, Nan decided she quite liked Beck and started talking to her and showing her the love that she showed her to the end. This is what makes my Nan special. Things that make my Nan, and I'll never forget. Ear-bread Vegemite sandwiches after jelly slice and chalky milk at Baker's Dozen every Saturday morning. Growling at Pop for feeding us beer. Sunday lunches, I still cook my baked potatoes the same way under the same fat conditions. The family favourite meringues at special occasions. You growling at Pop saying, "Oh, Hans, stop it," just like old Damien and old Jonathan, stop it. Saturday night hey at Saturday and the stock standard Clinkers, Chicos and SodaStream. Nan growling at us, or so-called growling at us, watching inappropriate copied VHS tapes that were in the Strady 80s possession. And lastly, Nan, I'll never forget the impact you had on my life, and I'm very grateful for it and will forever be. During the hard times, you were there to share love, and the good times, you were always there to celebrate. I feel very special to be a part of your journey as your grandson, and look forward to when we reconnect again, and for one last time I hear you say, "Oh, Damien." Rest easy, Nan, I love you.
Diane, I'm going to miss you heaps. I have now lost all 3 of my sisters, with whom I shared a special bond that can never be broken. There is no better friend than a sister, and nothing can replace the love that Diane, Sue, Maureen and I had for each other. I have some lovely memories of our times together. Our weekly Saturday afternoons at Mum and Dad's with us all there. This was not only enjoyed by us sisters, but by all the nieces and nephews together. They too will remember their special family moments and the afternoons that were spent with you. Christmas Day was another example of us all coming together each year and spending some quality time. We planned and divided the contributions for lunch well in advance, and we always looked forward to that pasta salad with prawns and beans and the perfect pavlova that you always made. We were lucky to have many holidays together as sisters too. Our annual trip to the Australian Open in Melbourne, which we watched not only the tennis, but we also watched you and Maureen filling your bags with shopping and Sue and I just shaking our heads. Our regular visits to Auntie Beauty's in Devonport were great times too. We had our yearly trips to the Delarang Craft Market. One of the jewellery stall holders from Melbourne would have a big smile on his face when he saw Diane approaching. He even remembered her name each year. Diane really loved her jewellery. She also loved reading books, and before she got a Kindle, she would buy all the latest releases and all the books in a series and then pass them on to me to read. Thanks, Diane. You really saved me a lot of money. I was really grateful for her support when I had my car accident many years ago. She helped me so much by looking after my children whilst I recovered. This is what family and us as sisters did. We helped each other when we needed it. The last few months have been really tough on you with your health, but you never complained and you just dealt with it. I'm grateful that I got to spend a lot of time with you and I was able to be there to help you too. You are now resting peacefully, Diane, until we meet again. Your sister, Julie.
Beautiful words, both of you. Thank you. We've heard about Diane's life through spoken word and stories, but now I'd like to bring your attention to the screens as we watch some moments of her life in photographs. And I'd like to say that Diane enjoyed a wide variety of music, which in a way is true, in that Elvis didn't actually write any of the songs himself, but as long as he was at the front singing, Diane would listen to it. Enjoy.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? Suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. So if an old friend I know stops by to say hello, would I still see suspicion in your eyes? Don't let a good thing die. When, honey, you know I have never lied to you. Yeah, yeah. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? But don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. But don't you know I'm caught in a trap?
How did you find the energy, Mum, to do all the things you did? To be a teacher, nurse and counsellor, to me when I was a kid. How did you do it all, Mum? Be a chauffeur, cook and friend, yet find the time to be a playmate. I just can't comprehend. I see now it was love, Mum, that made you come whenever I call. Your inexhaustible love, Mum, and I thank you for it all. The time we spend here in this chapel is all about being human and expressing the unsettling mix of emotions and responses. Tears are human, smiles are human, hugs and warmth are human, laughter, agreement and things shared in common, all a part of who we are. And at the heart of our meditation and our words, the humanness of Diane. We gather to celebrate what made her tick, her individuality, her character, habits and quirks. Out of the gifts, abilities and ambiguities within her, she reached out her hand and her heart and contributed. And she has left something in you. What you take of that and do with it is up to you. But in this brief time together, it reminds us of how good it is to be in relationship, to have love and friendship, to see so much evidence in how Diane lived her life, and that the opportunity to live and create is a fabulous gift. To you, Diane's family, I would like to pay tribute to the courage, love and care that you showed her, especially over the last 4 years as her health declined. You still gave your best to her, and you still wanted the best for her. That is the measure of a true and deep love. And now that she's gone, you will still feel an enormous sense of loss, along with the relief that her suffering has ended. You will never lose the memories that you have of her. You will always be grateful for all that her life has meant to you. You will always tell your children and your children's children of their heritage in this courageous woman and the stories of her unique character. You have lost a large part of your lives in losing Diane, but just as she would have been proud of all you've achieved so far in your lives, she would want you to go on, love and laugh, and rejoice in the gift of life. Those we love are never truly gone. They live in treasured memories. They live in the hearts of those whose lives they have touched and shared along the way. Your sadness today comes out of caring and out of love. We know that Diane's spirit and her living made a difference and will continue to do so, as long as each of you remember her in your hearts and carry the lessons of her life with you. You are now the representatives and ambassadors of her legacy. She gave you wonderful gifts of kindness, graciousness, strength and acceptance and love. She showed you how to live with a strong and positive heart and how to be thankful for everything that you have. Cherish it always. In a moment, Diane's family will come forward and place a tribute flower on her coffin. As they do this, I invite you to allow yourself a moment of quiet reflection. Remember time shared and contemplate the character that was Diane. Thank you.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me long. take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong and will never part. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me dear, tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
What we are essentially doing today is putting away Diane's body. We deeply respect her body because it's what her parents gave her, and it carried around her spirit, her character, herself, her being for 77 years. But now, the thing that drove her eyes and the thing that gave us her smile, the thing that made her body travel and make paths and buy shoes and more shoes, and the thing that knew you and let us know her, the thing that enlivened her body, is gone. That thing will never be completely lost to us, however, because we all have a little bit of it stuck inside us. We'll always think a bit like Diane. We'll act a bit like Diane. We'll laugh at the same things, and we'll probably cry a bit from time to time because of Diane. She'll visit us in our dreams, and we'll think we overheard her voice in a crowd, and tears may form, and so will a smile. We will smile the smile of someone who has had the honour of knowing Diane. And now she remains, locked up inside us, warm in our hearts and safe in our love. Let her rest there. Let her ride with you. Take her away with you today and remember what moved you about her. Be stronger for her. Be better. Be kinder. Your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your auntie, your friend, your Diane. Go in peace now, Diane, supported and nurtured by all those who love you. Be strong, be free, and be proud of who you have been. Know that you will be mourned and missed, that no one can replace you, that you have loved and are loved. And so it's with love and gratitude that we now commit all these fond memories to be locked away in our hearts as we gently yield your body to its end with nature. We celebrate you. We honour you. But most of all, we pay tribute to that consistent love and support you always shared so willingly with your family and with your friends. Just as there is a sunrise, there must be a sunset. Diane K. Demeyer, tenderly and reverently, we give your body to nature's elements and ultimately to the precious earth, from which all things come and to which, in the end, all things return. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, at the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, you will be with us. and in the blueness of the skies, and in the warmth of summer, in the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, you will be with us. As long as we can dream, as long as we can think, as long as we have memories, we will love you. As long as there is time, as long as there is love, as long as we have breath to speak your name, we will love you. Ladies and gentlemen, can I invite you to please stand as we escort Diane from the chapel? Thank you very much.
Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. If I made you feel second best, girl, I'm so sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. Give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. You were always on my mind. Always on my mind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine.